The future of VR looks like it's going to get a lot more immersive and more expensive. Let's talk about Meta Quest Pro, or Project Cambria. Quest 2 is one of the most popular VR headsets in existence. That's been around since 2020, but there is a new VR headset that's around the corner. Meta's Project Cambria was announced last year, and according to Mark Zuckerberg, it's going to be released or announced sometime around October, timed to Meta's CNET virtual event. Now, Mark Zuckerberg brought this up recently on a Joe Rogan podcast. This headset has been detailed in some other little teases throughout the year where Meta's talked about some of the features and what we should expect. The Quest Pro, or Cambria, is something that's going to be a step-up product compared to the Quest 2 in price and in features. The cost could be well over $800. So this is not a headset that's going to replace the headset that most people have been buying. At now $400, the Quest 2 is probably going to be the most affordable option. The Quest Pro, or the Cambria, is going to have other additional features that pros or business users might take advantage of. This is the territory that Meta is trying to get into. The business space, the workspace, the use it for more everyday things space, not just games. Also, the reason I keep calling it Quest Pro is a couple of things. First of all, Mark Zuckerberg told me last year in an interview that this headset, the Quest Pro, was going to be coming, and that he was thinking about the future of a metaverse for work and something with more sensors, which this device seems to be. But secondly, there's already been a very leaked, seemingly very convincing headset that looks like this Quest Pro that was found in a hotel room, mysteriously leaked out there with what looks like the packaging and what the headset is. So I think we already may have a look at what this is. And it looks pretty convincing, where it looks like a nicer, more refined version of something like a Pro type level Quest VR headset. So what Cambria is going to feature? A better display, including something called pancake optics. Now, this type of technology shrinks down the display size so that the overall bulkiness of the headset shouldn't be quite as much, hopefully making that more comfortable. The other thing is it's going to have eye tracking. Now, eye tracking is something that we've seen in business headsets, and it's going to be on the PlayStation VR 2, which I've already tried. And Apple's expected headset may have it as well. It's definitely a technology of the future where it looks at your eye movements and does a couple of different things with this. One, it's going to interpret where you're gazing to be able to possibly use that for interactions or eye contact with avatars. But an everyday thing that it'll be used for is called foveated rendering. That's where the center of what you look at is the most highly detailed spot and the rest gets a little more fuzzy, basically the way your eyes already work. That technology has been employed for years with VR, and PlayStation VR 2 is doing it as well. It could help get more graphics power out of a lower processor. Maybe that's something that the Cambria headset will do. The other thing Cambria is going to have, hence the name Cambria or some sort of explosion or change, is more mixed reality. Now, Meta is working on some sort of set of AR glasses down the road, but right now, the company is working in VR. And this headset could be the bridge device. Now, we've already seen some ways that mixed reality is used on the existing Quest 2. Using the pass-through cameras, which are black and white, there are some experimental apps that layer VR-like objects onto that black and white camera to create a sense of some sort of immersiveness. But the cameras on the Quest 2 are pretty primitive. Now, the ones on Cambria may be more advanced in color, and it looks like they're going to mix that reality better. Some early senses of those demos may not look all that astonishing, but in actual execution, they may feel better. The eye tracking is going to also go along with face tracking, and that gets into avatars. Now, Meta's been trying to advance the idea of social avatars for all of its workspaces and play spaces in the future of the metaverse. Right now, those avatars look really cartoony. They're slowly being ramped up. And what I think this Cambria headset is going to be doing is using its eye and face tracking to improve how those avatars animate. Now, that could mean that suddenly if you smile, or if you look over there, your avatar does that too. And would that be helpful? Could it create more of a sense of presence, or could it create a bit of an uncanny valley? We want to get to this point where the avatars maybe start looking photorealistic. Meta has already explored this type of experimental technology in some of its lab experiments that they've talked about. Those avatars in the highly realistic versions are not here yet, but we may see some stepping stones when it comes to Cambria. The other thing that Cambria may have are better controllers and better haptics. The existing Quest 2 controllers for the headset that's right behind me, they're fine, but the controllers have this little basic buzz for when you interact with things that's not very complicated. The PlayStation VR 2 that I just got to try has a very rich sense of vibrating feedback. Now, it could be that the Cambria headset takes another step up as well to try to match that, to create more realistic sensations and sense of contact and immersiveness. So all of that is going to add up to something that is more expensive than what the Quest 2 is. That's already been confirmed by Meta. Now, how much more, we don't really know yet. But the space that we're looking at with VR headsets is going to get more expensive. Meta's headset already went up by $100. PlayStation VR 2, we don't know, but you do need a PlayStation 5, which is expensive. Apple's expected headset, probably pretty expensive. So we are seeing this kind of ramp up, and it's unclear whether something like this new headset is a sign of where prices are going, or whether this is a new tier featuring some stuff that may eventually trickle down to the mainstream products. The other thing is that eye tracking and face tracking, that stuff involves data privacy rules that haven't really been laid down yet and is a very messy landscape. We don't know how companies are going to handle that stuff. We don't know how careful they're going to be with that stuff. And it's unclear whether Meta even wants to get into that with an everyday headset or keep that at a pro tier. So that's what we know so far. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments, and we'll find out soon what else is in store. Hope you enjoyed watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and talk to you soon.